stigmatization of people who are facing mental health problems. You do find that the society wants to shun them away and say, maybe perhaps this you should not talk to these particular people. You should not interact with them in whatsoever regard. And so maybe perhaps when it comes to us addressing mental health issues in our country, maybe perhaps one of the things that we should be looking at is how to sort of destigmatize this whole issue of our mental wellness. So maybe perhaps from your perspective, what can be done with our society, maybe perhaps to sort of reduce this stigma against people with our mental health problems?
My point in that is like, I can say it's okay not to be okay.
Yeah.
Mental health is okay.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing to be going through that. And I can say everybody's having mental health issues, and it's not a bad thing like you need to go to a mental hospital. That's when you've really lost it. But we were talking with a friend the other day, and we were talking about when you say you're depressed, it means you've reached a point where you do not have any hope. You cannot even wake up from the bed. You cannot even do anything. But the moment sometimes you say, I'm having anxiety, everybody has anxiety about maybe you're going to start a new career.
Even life itself.
Thank you. You're not good at your job. It's normal. Everybody goes through that. It's the fear of doing something. So when you surpass that, it means like you basically overcame that anxiety. It's normal to have anxiety. So I feel like even talking about mental health, you should really define what's really that. I can say depression when you're at a point where you're just hopeless, you don't have hope about tomorrow. Suicidal thoughts, the fact that someone is thinking about it, it's a major issue. And I feel like the society we should really embrace and check on people, our friends, talk to them about, are you okay, checking up on people, because that's how it starts. And also there's a lot of pressure that is going on in regards to people's life and all these social media activity, and they tend to I can say compare our life with other people, and it makes you feel less than. But
I think social media, they do say that comparison is a thief of joy. So you log on to your Instagram, you do find that your colleagues or maybe your friends are actually on a vacation to maybe perhaps Zanzibar, and you're there not still haven't figured out your life, and you're trying to compare yourselves with them, and eventually you sort of maybe are drawn to jealousy and other tendencies like that.
True. But it starts with knowing who you are, knowing what you want, and also I always say surround yourself with like-minded people. Have a support system that can really understand you, and you feel like you're not okay, you can just call them anytime they're there for you. And also understanding like life is a race. Everybody has their own journey, everybody has their own time in regards to everything. So learn who you are, love yourself, motivate yourself sometimes, and also talk about it freely. And I always say that you're not defined by your success, you're not defined by your the kind of money that you have in your bank account. You're not defined by what you have. Your definition of who you are starts with who God says you are, your identity in Him. It says you're enough, you're perfect the way you are, you can do all things through Him. It starts with that, and basically having a purpose, a vision, and a goal in life in regards to being a blessing to other people. When you focus on that and what you're good at, you'll see like the peace that you have will basically transcend.
That's actually true, because if you look at people, they want to be defined by what they own, who they are connected to, and things like that. And that is the biggest problem that you will find with so many people. But of course, for those who are joining us right now and are wondering what we're talking about, we are having a brief conversation about mental health. And for those who might even wonder what is mental health, according to the World Health Organization, mental health is defined as a state in which a state of mental well-being that enables people to cope with the stress of life and realize their abilities, learn well, and also be able to achieve their full potential. So if you're in that particular kind of a state, then you can be said to have mental well. But if you are in the opposite, then it means that you're experiencing some mental health problems. And there are so many causes of mental health problems. Some of the things that people have not been able to cope with, it's because of maybe perhaps circumstances that people are in. You find yourself maybe in a situation you are not able to fend for yourself, or even fend for your family, or even do things that you're supposed to do, or your responsibility, and then you do find that stresses you out, eventually leading you to depression, eventually maybe perhaps affecting your mental health. There are so many causes of mental health, and the problem is when you look at stress, one of the things that maybe might cause mental health problems. In our school, we were taught that there is positive stress and there is negative stress. There is eustress and distress. So eustress is actually positive stress, and distress is actually negative stress. So for eustress, yeah, positive stress, that is a kind of a stress that gets you motivated to actually finish a task, or finish something that you are actually supposed to be doing. But for distress is now you are like overstressed to a level where you're not even able to get out of bed and go do what you're supposed to be doing. But when it comes to some of the solutions, maybe that people can actually embark, I think it will have to do with some lifestyle changes for me. But for you, what are some of the things that maybe perhaps would be adopted to help people achieve or embrace a better mental health?
Of course, that's a very good kind of question you asked.
Yeah.
I can say that, as I said earlier,
Yeah.
I can say about morning routine, or have a routine about what things you like doing.
True.
Mention something that you love doing that gives you joy and peace.
Yeah.
Number 2, surround yourself with positive people. Very important.
Yeah.
People will build you.
Yeah.
People will make you better.
Yeah.
The other thing is, if you like listening to music, something which can really reach your spirit up.
Yeah.
The kind of music activities, like it's traveling, hiking, or spending time with family. Find a niche that makes you feel like yourself. Like when you dive into that space, you're literally feeling peaceful.
So when you're with people who also like are bringing out the best in you, there's some people who will still always talking about what you haven't done, trying to belittle you, trying to make you feel feel as if you're not good enough. So if you're hanging out with those kind of people, where you're also trying to gauge your level of success with their level of success, or trying to compare yourselves with them, then it means it's going to be a very, very big problem. And nonetheless, remember, this is a Kenyan podcast, your number one trending and topical issues podcast in the 254. As always, make sure to connect with us on our social media platforms, on Twitter at Kenyan Podcast, on Instagram at Kenyan Podcast, and also on what do you call Threads? Actually, Threads. I don't know if anyone has actually hopped onto Threads, but we are also available on Threads Farm. And some people were just saying that Threads is actually just a combination of X and Facebook. But anyhow, you can find us on X. Just look for us at Kenyan Podcast. And you can also find us on Facebook, and also on other different social media, and also on YouTube as well. But moving on with the conversation, we would maybe perhaps like to look at maybe some of the resources that people can get to use to tackle, mental health problems. For example, there is a platform known as Bonga, where you can just go talk and talk with counselors, talk with professionals, and just have yourself be listened to, because one of the things that is a big factor when it comes to these mental health problems is that people lack people to talk to.
I agree.
So you're also thinking that when you talk to these particular people, they might be more judgmental than they might be willing to help. So, and also another thing, especially with men don't like to open up.
I agree.
Some people will tell you that opening up is a scam. If you go to social media and actually look at some people talking about how they open up to a friend, and then the friend eventually ended up telling other people on their business. So how can we try, how can we find ways of opening up in a way that is also constructive and not maybe demeaning, or maybe which becomes a problem? How can you find ways of opening up, and how can opening up help in terms of tackling?
Earlier, I think you should have a confidence.
Yeah.
Someone you truly trust, and you feel comfortable talking to them about anything.
Yeah.
We're going back to the point that we talked about, having a support system, people you can really open up to, and they would not make you feel like you're going crazy or you're not okay.
Yeah.
And also, I feel like the society had this stigma about mostly men. Like, you should not talk about whatever you're going through. You should not.
They do say mwanaume ni kujikaza, like,
yes,
so they tell you you're supposed to keep that to yourself and just keep moving.
And just figure it out.
Yeah, figure it out along the way. Yeah.
So that's a no.
Yeah.
Because I can see there's a lot of men out there who are struggling with a lot of issues. They cannot tell their wives. They cannot talk to anybody, because number one, if you tell your wife, she's gonna put you down.
She might even leave you. You might even actually end up not having a wife in the first place.
Some will be like, you're a man, you should figure it out.
Yeah.
So also to all the couples out there, support your men
Mm.
because they really, really need you,
Yeah.
and they're really standing strong for the family.
Yeah.
So find a circle support system,
Yeah.
or maybe a circle as a platform that you talked about, Bunga.
Yeah.
Really amazing work that Anne Moore is doing.
Yeah.
I feel like you should reach out to Bunga and share whatever
Yeah.
your experiences, and also it can be a motivation to other people.
Yeah.
And number 3,
Trends is bad. And there was